Mean, median, and mode. So we're studying statistics, and a lot of our question is, what is normal for a particular group and a particular characteristic? And the mean, median, and mode are three different ways of saying, hey, you could consider this to be normal for this group. Normal, what most people are like. So for example, the class was surveyed about the number of bedrooms in their house. And here are the results. And you can see immediately that there's someone in there who we could say, well, they're probably not the normal answer. That's me, over here. Studio bedroom apartment, no actual bedrooms. Mostly because everyone here comes from a family with kids, because you're all kids. There's multiple bedrooms. So it's normal for this group of people to have multiple bedrooms. But exactly how many bedrooms is normal? And there's different ways of saying that. And they are the mean or the average, the median or the middle score, and the mode, the most frequent score. So we'll work on each of these. Now the mean is also what we call the average. Now what the mean does is it pretty much says, if we took everybody's bedrooms and shared them out equally, how many would each person have? Because that's a pretty good way of seeing what's normal. It'll probably end up with something really silly like 3.5. And in some ways like 3.5 bedrooms is not normal. But what that's saying is somewhere between 3 and 4 bedrooms is normal. So the idea of the mean or the average is, what if all these different results were shared out equally between all these people? And the way we get the mean or the average is to get the total of all the scores divided by the number of scores. We're going to add all those bedrooms up and share them between the number of people. Now when you're doing working for the mean, you don't actually need to write this little way of getting it. That's our rule, that's how we get our mean. So the appropriate working for this isn't writing out 3 plus 4 plus 4 plus 5, because that would be really boring. All we have to do is say the mean equals, and we'll get the total of this. Now you can be a bit clever about adding it up if you want, or you can just use your calculator and get 3 plus 4 plus... Now I'm going to be really clever. See, that's 3 lots of 3, that's 9. But you don't have to, you can just do 3 plus 3 plus 3. So you're trying to make sure that we're getting everything very accurate. Adding in the next line. Now adding the 0 doesn't add anything to the total, but I still deserve to be considered in this count. When we add everything up and share it between the number of people, we've got to be including me in that. So while you don't actually have to hit plus 0, because it doesn't change anything, so between us, these 19 people have 68 bedrooms in all their houses. Now I check that that's 19, 18, 19. So by doing 68 divided by 19, we're sharing all those bedrooms equally. And I've already got 68 sitting there, so I can just hit divided by 19. There we go, I wasn't far off. 3 point will round to 1 decimal place. That's a 5, that's more than 5, so when I'm rounding to 1 decimal place, 3.6 bedrooms. Now that's not saying that anyone's got 0.6 of a bedroom. It's just saying if we shared them equally, everyone would have 3.6 bedrooms. So round about 3 or 4 bedrooms is normal. And that looks right for this group. So that's what the average or the mean does. The median is the middle score when all the scores are in order. So that's our median. And it's useful because it gives us a more realistic middle or normal in many cases. Now to get this, we do have to put all the scores in order from smallest to largest. So it can be a good idea to cross them off as you go, or to count. Look, there's only 1 0, there's only 1 2. How many 3s are there? 1 2 3 4 5 6. So I have to put in 6 3s. Got them? How many 4s? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. 8 4s. Ah, see, that's you're not writing 8. You're writing 4 8 times. Eight, and I've got 5, 5, 6. Let's see if I can fit that in there. Getting a bit squishy, sorry about that. Check that I got those, 5, 5, 6. And a good check is, I know I've got 19 scores, check that there's 19 here. So that's a pretty good check that I got it right. Now, the median is the middle score. If there's an odd number of pieces of data, such as 19, then you've got a couple of options. One way is you can just sort of count your way in. The outside one, then the next one, then the next one, next. But that gets a little bit tedious and annoying. Oh look, it's 4. There we go. So the median of this group is 4. That's one value of the number of bedrooms that could be considered normal. And that's about right. You know, there's a lot of people with 4 bedrooms. That's pretty normal. There can, of course, be the problem of what you do when you don't want to count in like this, or when there's an even number of scores. So let's just do a little separate result here. Oh, we forgot to say that the median is 4 there. So look at this set of data, 1, 2, 5, 7. The median of that is in between 2 and 5. When there's an even number of scores, you'll have to find the average of the 2 middle scores. Now the average is add them up and divide by how many there are. So that would be 2 plus 5 divided by 2. 2 plus 5 is 7. 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. So just that little bit there, this is ignoring my data, that's how you find the median of 2 middle scores when there's an even number of pieces of data. We'll talk about ways to not have to count in a later video. This is the basics. So we've done the mean, we've done the median. The mode is the score or scores that occurs most often. So, just highlighting that one, you look for which score happens the most, and that would be 4, because there were 8 4s and only 6 3s, so the mode here is 4, same as the median in this case. It's not always the case. And that's another way of saying, hey, this is what's most usual. The most number of people in the class had a score of 4, so 4 is really normal. If you have two different numbers that have the same number of scores, so if 4 and 3 had both had 8 scores, then we'd give two modes of 4 and 3. You can have 3 modes or 4 modes. The only way you can't have multiple modes is if no numbers are doubled up. So here, this data here has no mode because nothing occurs more than once. So that's just an introduction to mean, median and mode. We'll learn more about how to calculate them later, but they're all about finding out what is normal. And for this group here, we can probably say that it's normal to have 3 or 4 bedrooms.